Oh, good. Well, do we have any sports lovers in the room?
Sport lovers.
Hands
Apakah
up if
ada
you're
yang
a sports
senang
lover.
olahraga ya? Olahraga ada? Ada
I've
yang
heard,
senang?
Rob, that you are quite the sports fan. Anyone a fan of basketball?
Ada yang penggemar bola basket? Ada?
Soccer football?
Sepak bola?
Yeah.
Ada yang
Volleyball? Any volleyball fans?
Ada volleyball?
Oh, these guys are putting their hands up for everything.
Oh, oke.
Badminton?
Badminton ada?
Goodminton? Yeah, not badminton.
Golf?
That's a
Golf?
good joke. That's like a dad joke, Lena. Is this
Golf?
Golf? Does anyone?
Golf?
Yeah, Rob, we've got some
Wih, hebat.
golf fans. Peter's putting his hand up, but we want a demonstration, yeah? Show your style, the swing. Yeah.
Swing to the ocean, oke.
Not actually to a T, yeah,
Okay.
fair enough. Any other sports? Tennis? Any
Tennis?
fans? Tennis?
Running?
Running? I don't know if that's a sport, Carl. Is that a sport?
Not running from all the mess,
No,
the reality. Nah.
Just running.
Bukan lari dari kenyataan, tapi lari, olahraga lari. Ya.
So I am a fellow sports lover. Are you a
Jadi-
sports lover? Would you call yourself a sports lover? Not really. Yeah.
No, just only my finger who doing
Yeah,
sport. You know?
on the guitar. Yeah. So I am a fellow sports lover,
Jadi saya adalah penggemar olahraga.
and my favorites growing up were basketball,
Jadi saya bertumbuh dengan bermain bola basket.
Australian football, the Aussie rules, not the NRL. Sorry, we're from the West, so I know anyway, it's a long story, there's a history, but Australian rules football from Perth, where I'm from, is the favorite type of football.
Football,
Football.
basketball. Football.
Yeah. Someone's clapping us. Wow, that's cool. I think we've got a little something coming through the audio. Yeah, cool. I just
Oke,
heard
jadi saya
It was
menyukai football, football ya.
yeah, football.
Sepak bola tapi dengan gaya Australia.
Kick it. Not like rugby. No, not rugby.
Yeah, this is
different
different.
game. Different game. They are not the same.
Ya, ini sepak bola tapi sepak bola Australia.
Although they do get called football. Both get called football. This is a different game. Aussie
Ya,
rules.
jadi namanya football juga tapi berbeda dengan football yang kita tahu sepak bola menggunakan kaki secara umum.
I also played a game called netball, which is not very common here in Bali, but it's a little bit like basketball, but it's the women's version. Even though like boys can play, it's fine, but it's mainly a woman's sport.
Ya, saya juga gemar dengan netball. Netball itu kayak basketball tapi versi untuk wanita. Jadi tapi laki-laki juga bermain netball di Australia. Ini khusus untuk Australia ya.
Now, I wasn't a fast runner,
Dan saya bukan seorang pelari yang cepat.
and I couldn't jump very far,
Saya nggak bisa melompat cukup jauh.
but team sports, I absolutely loved playing team sports.
Tapi saya senang bermain di dalam kelompok, di dalam grup.
And I especially love being at a game, watching a game.
Dan saya juga senang untuk menyaksikan pertandingan.
Has anyone seen a live game before, Bali United or one of the basketball teams?
Ada yang pernah menyaksikan
here?
secara live, secara langsung pertandingan sepak bola atau basket atau lain sebagainya?
The school futsal tournament?
Yeah.
It's a bit similar, but
Oke.
not quite the atmosphere. But
Ya ini ngurah kan basketball tuh. Bisa ada temannya ada yang pernah nonton secara live, ya itu sama juga kan basketball. Oke.
And so when you watch a game, there's the crowd,
Jadi ketika kita menyaksikan pertandingan keramaian atau penonton,
the atmosphere.
atmosfer daripada keramaian tersebut,
Sometimes there's singing,
terkadang mereka bernyanyi
and there's just a lot of energy in the room.
dan ada banyak energi di dalam stadium tersebut.
And you can look across the stadium and you see all the team colors that are there.
Dan kita bisa melihat ada para penggemar daripada tim tersebut dengan warna yang sama.
And as you're watching, you're riding the highs and the lows. If the team's going well, you're, yes, this is awesome. If they're not doing so well, you don't feel so good.
Ya, jadi ketika kita di stadium kita bisa mengikuti bagaimana jalannya pertandingan. Kalau mereka lakukan hal yang baik, kita bisa bersorak. Ketika mereka lakukan hal yang kurang baik, jadi kita begitu.
And when your team wins the grand final, that is like the best feeling.
Jadi kalau tim kita masuk ke dalam grand final, itu adalah hal yang terindah, yang terbaik yang kita inginkan.
Especially if you're there, right there in the stadium, watching it unfold.
Secara khusus ketika Anda berada di situ dan menyaksikannya secara langsung.
Now, I don't know what that feels like for the AFL team that I follow, which is the Australian rules football team. You guys won't know, but it's called the Fremantle Dockers, and they are just notorious for losing pretty much all the time. They've never won a grand final. So I actually personally don't know what it feels like for my footy team to have made it to the grand final.
Ya, so never.
To win. Yeah, to win. They've been to a grand final, but they've never won it.
Oke, jadi tim
Ya.
favoritnya Pastor Rachel tuh berulang kali selalu sampai ke grand final tapi nggak menang gitu ya.
And so other teams that I follow have made the grand final, and that's been a special experience.
Ya, jadi ada tim lain yang Pastor Rachel juga suka masuk ke grand final dan mereka memenangkan.
So, but what I've found over the years, that it's one thing to be a fan of sport,
Jadi apa yang saya perhatikan selama beberapa waktu untuk menjadi seorang penggemar atau fan,
but it's far greater to be a player in the team.
bahwa buktinya adalah akan jauh lebih baik ketika kita berada menjadi seorang pemain di dalam tim.
And so I've played on many sporting teams over the years,
Jadi saya pernah bermain di dalam tim di dalam bertahun-tahun.
and there's something about putting on that team uniform
Ada sesuatu hal yang baik ketika kita menggunakan seragam tim.
running out onto the court with your team,
Lalu berlari menuju ke tengah bersama dengan tim.
and if it was like a really special game, they'd call your name out as you ran onto the court.
Ya, jadi sangat spesial ketika nama tim kalian disebutkan.
In GA, let's welcome Rachel Dobra. Yeah,
Ya.
that
Jadi
only
bisa,
happened a few times. It wasn't-
mari kita sambut Rachel Dobra. Wow.
I just expect that when I come into the house. Let's welcome Mum to the house. No, okay.
Ya, sangat senang ketika nama kita atau nama tim kita dipanggil untuk bisa bertanding.
And then as a team, we'd warm up together,
Dan sebagai tim kita juga melakukan pemanasan bersama.
and then of course take the court,
eh,
like play
ya,
the
dan
game.
juga bermain bersama. Ya.
And when you're playing on the team, you have the ability to directly impact the game.
Jadi setiap orang yang berada di tim memiliki kesempatan untuk bisa berdampak buat permainan.
When you're watching from the stands as a fan, you can kind of encourage them. Come on, guys, let's go. Come on.
Jadi kalau kita berada dalam posisi fans, kita hanya cuma bisa menyerukan, "Hayo dong, hayo, come on, bisa."
But you don't have any impact of what's happening in the game because you're not in the team.
Tapi kita nggak bisa membawa dampak yang lebih jauh kalau dibandingkan dengan orang yang berada di dalam tim.
And so one of the unique parts about being a part of a team is that you get to impact the other players for the good.
Jadi hal yang unik untuk bisa berada di dalam tim adalah bisa mendampaki permainan dan juga tim.
And there is something special that when you win that grand final, you take home the championship, you're standing with your team, there's not many other feelings that are like it.
Ya, jadi hal yang istimewa ketika kita bertanding dan lalu memasuki grand final dan memenangkan pertandingan.
It's very special.
Itu adalah perasaan yang sangat spesial.
And what I want to talk about today
Apa yang saya mau sampaikan pada hari ini?
is that we don't want to be just fans
Jadi kita nggak mau cuma sekedar menjadi seorang penggemar.
when it comes to church and our relationship with Jesus.
Ketika kita dalam hubungan datang ke gereja dan juga di dalam relasi kita dengan Tuhan Yesus.
We want to be part of the team.
Jadi kita mau menjadi bagian daripada tim, nggak cuma sebagai penggemar.
And did you know that God calls each one of us to be part of his team?
Tahukah Anda bahwa Tuhan memanggil setiap kita itu untuk menjadi bagian di dalam tim?
We see in the early part of Jesus' ministry on earth
Jadi kita melihat bagian daripada pelayanan Tuhan Yesus di muka bumi.
that he chooses some followers, some disciples, people that were going to be his team.
Dia memanggil orang-orang yang akan menjadi murid-muridnya dan masuk ke dalam tim.
And we read about it in Matthew chapter 4 verses 18 to 22.
Kita akan melihat di dalam Matius 4.
It says, as Jesus was walking beside the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon called Peter and his brother Andrew. They were casting a net into the lake, for they were fishermen. Come follow me, Jesus said, and I will send you out to fish for people. At once they left their nets and followed him.
Dan ketika Yesus sedang berjalan menyusur danau di Galilea, ia melihat dua orang bersaudara, yaitu Simon yang disebut Petrus dan Andreas saudaranya. Mereka sedang menebarkan jala di danau sebab mereka penjala ikan. Yesus berkata kepada mereka, "Mari ikutlah aku dan kamu akan kujadikan penjala manusia." Lalu mereka pun segera meninggalkan jalannya dan mengikuti dia.
Going on from there, he saw two other brothers, James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John. They were in a boat with their father Zebedee, preparing their nets. Jesus called them, and immediately they left their boat and their father and followed him.
Dan setelah Yesus pergi dari sana, dilihatnya pula dua orang bersaudara, yaitu Yakobus anak Zebedeus dan Yohanes saudaranya. Bersama ayah mereka Zebedeus sedang membereskan jala di dalam perahu. Yesus memanggil mereka dan mereka segera meninggalkan perahu serta ayahnya lalu mengikuti dia.
So we see here Jesus choosing his team.
Jadi kita bisa melihat di sini bahwa Tuhan Yesus memilih timnya.
And so this is not like when we were at school. I don't know if you had it here in Indonesia, but usually when we'd play a team sport, the teacher would choose two people to be the captains of the team, and then those captains would choose the people that they would want for their team, and they'd take turns to choose.
Ya, tidak tahu dengan apa yang terbiasa di Indonesia, tapi kalau di Australia itu biasanya si pelatih akan memilih dua orang untuk menjadi kapten atau leader daripada tim, dan leader ini akan memilih anggotanya yang bisa dilibatkan di dalam tim.
If you're a really good player, you usually got chosen first.
Jadi kalau kamu pemain yang bagus, kamu biasanya akan pertama kali dipilih.
And if you weren't a really good sports person, you usually got chosen last.
Ya, kalau kamu nggak terlalu bagus di dalam bermain, biasanya akan dipilih terakhir.
And that's not a good feeling.
Dan itu pasti perasaannya nggak enak.
Now, we see here that Jesus wasn't trying to choose the most elite people that were in the community.
Jadi kita lihat di sini bahwa Tuhan Yesus tidak sengaja memilih kaum elit untuk menjadi pengikutnya.
There wasn't a quiz or a test for them to be able to fill out before they could join his team.
Tidak ada kuis yang dilakukan untuk sebelum mereka masuk ke dalam tim.
Was that your phone? Is your phone talking? Oh, that's nice.
Sorry, this is Rappy Blippy movie.
And so Jesus wasn't trying to do some tryouts before he welcomed people to join his team.
Jadi dia nggak melakukan kayak percobaan terlebih dahulu sebelum bisa bergabung dalam tim.
He saw the heart and he saw the potential in people.
Jadi apa yang Yesus lihat adalah hati dan potensial daripada orang tersebut.
And he chose people that maybe we wouldn't have chosen ourselves.
Dan mungkin orang-orang itu bisa jadi bahkan kita sendiri mungkin nggak memilih diri kita.
And we see these fishermen, they're called by Jesus to come and follow him.
Sebagaimana kita lihat bahwa Tuhan memilih seorang nelayan yang dipanggil untuk menjadi muridnya.
So in a way we could say that he's like, hey, come follow me means that come and play on my team.
Jadi ketika Yesus mengatakan, hai mari ikuti aku, itu sama dengan hayu mari masuk ke dalam timku dan bermain bersama.
And that invitation goes out not just to the 12 disciples but to all followers of Jesus, all future followers of Jesus.
Jadi apa yang disampaikan itu bukan cuma sekedar untuk murid-murid, tapi follow itu atau mengikuti itu semua orang yang Tuhan memanggil untuk menjadi pengikutnya.
We weren't made to be part of the crowd, we were made to be part of the team.
Kita semua dipanggil untuk menjadi bagian di dalam tim.
Team Jesus, we could say.
Tim Yesus.
All right, so let me read 1 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 27. It says, now you are the body of Christ and each one of you is part of it.
Ya, kita akan baca, kamu semua adalah tubuh Kristus dan kamu masing-masing adalah anggotanya.
And so another way of saying that is that you are made to be part of the team.
Jadi kita semua ini dipanggil untuk menjadi bagian dari tim.
And now being a member of the team isn't always easy.
Dan tentunya menjadi bagian dari tim itu nggak selalu mudah.
In fact, it's far easier to be part of the crowd.
Akan jauh lebih mudah untuk kita menjadi seorang penggemar saja atau yang bersorak-sorak di kerumunan.
It's easy for me to go, run faster, kick further, like just sitting in the crowd when I can't even do what they're doing. But it's easy for me to tell them.
Akan lebih mudah untuk menjadi penggemar cuman bilang, ayo lari cepet dong, tendang gitu. Ya, untuk sebagai seorang fan doang.
To be part of the team, it takes discipline.
Tapi untuk menjadi seorang pemain di dalam tim membutuhkan disiplin.
Dedication.
Dedikasi.
Sacrifice, maybe having to eat well and exercise lots.
Pengorbanan, makannya harus makan yang sehat, yang diet ya. Dan juga latihan ekstra.
We're perfect examples of that, yeah.
Oke, ya. Bantalannya di mana-mana.
So fit.
Sorry guys.
And so being part of a team, it requires sacrifice.
Jadi bagian dari tim itu membutuhkan pengorbanan.
And giving up our time, our energy, even our money.
Memberikan waktu, tenaga, dan juga mungkin uang kita.
And this is a little bit similar to being part of Team Jesus.
Dan ini sama halnya dengan menjadi bagian dari timnya Yesus.
Matthew chapter 16 verse 24 says, "Then Jesus said to his disciples, 'Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me.'"
Lalu Yesus berkata kepada murid-muridnya, setiap orang yang mau mengikut aku, ia harus menyangkal dirinya, memikul salibnya dan mengikut aku.
And so following Jesus, we see this scripture, it makes it clear that it requires us to lay down our lives.
Jadi untuk menjadi pengikut Yesus membutuhkan kita dengan secara sadar memberikan diri kita kepada Tuhan Yesus
And to make some sacrifices.
dan membuat satu pengorbanan.
But we've heard this before, that those sacrifices are for the common good of the people around us.
Tetapi pengorbanan yang dilakukan itu untuk kebaikan orang-orang yang ada di sekitar kita.
Now, today I want to do something a little bit different.
Dan hari ini saya mau melakukan hal yang sedikit berbeda.
Now, many of you would know that we have a home church in Perth called C3 Hepburn Heights.
Kita tahu beberapa dari kita mungkin tahu bahwa kita adalah bagian daripada gereja dari C3 Hepburn Heights yang di Perth.
And so they planted us as a church here in Bali.
Ya, gereja tersebut melakukan perintisan di Bali sini, di gereja kita ini.
Now, Hepburn Heights is the church that I have been to my entire life.
Jadi gereja C3 Hepburn Heights itu merupakan bagian daripada kehidupan saya dalam beberapa tahun.
And the church has been going for over 45 years.
Dan gereja tersebut sudah berdiri lebih daripada 40 tahun.
Is anyone 45 here in the room? Or maybe don't put your hand up. This guy's a little bit close to that. So longer than Emmanuel's been alive, our church has been in existence.
Oke, ya. Jadi gereja udah lama gitu ya. Okay.
So you didn't translate
It's hard for me
it.
to tell.
Yeah,
I'm still
you didn't
35, you know?
No,
No,
a little bit more
okay.
than that.
Okay.
So the church has been around and existing for 45 years.
Jadi gereja sudah eksis, sudah berjalan selama lebih daripada 40 tahun.
And one of the special things is when I go back to Australia and I walk into the church, there are many people that have been there in the same church for the whole time I've been alive.
Dan hal yang spesial ada ketika saya kembali ke sana dan saya melihat masih ada orang-orang yang sudah sepuh begitu, yang sudah lanjut usia dan tetap setia selama puluhan tahun di gereja tersebut.
People that have been a part of our church for decades.
Orang-orang yang menjadi bagian dari gereja kami selama puluhan tahun.
And that have known me from when I was just a little girl.
Dan yang mengenal saya ketika saya masih kecil.
And so what I want to share with you today is some people's testimonies about what it meant for them to say yes to serving at church.
Ya, jadi kalau misalnya dikasih kesempatan untuk mereka bisa menyampaikan apa yang menjadi alasan untuk tetap bisa berada setia di gereja.
Because as a church here, we're pretty young still, 6 years old.
Karena sebagai gereja tempat ini kita memang masih muda, sekitar 6 tahun.
We don't have the blessing that it is to be able to see a long time of service. It's kind of been a short amount of time so far.
Ya, apa yang kita lakukan masih cukup singkat.
And so I want to introduce you to 5 or 6 different people.
Saya mau mengundang ke 6 orang tersebut.
Each of these people is very special and precious to me.
Jadi ada 6 orang yang akan kita saksikan dan mereka adalah orang-orang yang sangat spesial buat Pastor Rachel.
And they've all been serving for decades in our church.
Dan mereka sudah melayani puluhan tahun di gereja kita yang di Perth.
And what I wanted to do is ask them some questions.
Dan apa yang saya mau lakukan adalah menanyakan kepada mereka pertanyaan.
And young people, can I give you a tip?
Kepada orang yang masih muda, boleh saya memberikan tip?
If you get time to spend with someone that's a little bit older than you, more mature than you,
Jadi kalau kamu memiliki waktu, kesempatan untuk bisa terkoneksi dengan orang yang lebih tua, sedikit lebih tua dari kamu,
make sure you take time to ask them about their life and their journey.
pastikan untuk bisa meluangkan waktu bertanya tentang perjalanan hidup mereka.
Because everyone has great wisdom that they can share from their experience.
Karena setiap orang pasti memiliki pelajaran kehidupan yang bisa dibagikan.
Okay, I asked them these questions.
Jadi saya menanyakan pertanyaan ini,
How long have you been serving at church?
berapa lama kamu sudah melayani di dalam gereja?
What made you start serving?
Apa yang membuat kamu terlibat atau memulai pelayanan?
What areas have you volunteered in?
Area apa saja yang kamu sudah lakukan sebagai volunteer?
Can you share a special memory from your time at volunteering at church?
Apa kamu bisa membagikan peristiwa yang spesial ketika menjadi volunteer di gereja?
And what impact has serving and using your gifts had on your life?
Jadi dampak apa yang bisa terjadi dalam kehidupan kamu ketika kamu memilih untuk melayani Tuhan di gereja.
All right, let me introduce you to the first couple. This is Christine and Mark.
Mari kita akan perkenalkan dengan Christine dan Mark.
And if anyone remembers young Susie, who helped us launch the church, Susie and Matt, her husband, this is Matt's mum and dad.
Ya, kalau masih mengingat Susi dan Matt yang pernah melayani bantu kita di gereja kita, dan ini adalah orang tua daripada Matt.
And so this couple is amazing.
Dan pasangan ini adalah sangat luar biasa.
You can see they look so youthful, but they are actually a little bit older. They've been serving in church over 40 years.
Wow. Jadi memang mungkin kelihatannya mereka muda, tapi mereka sudah melayani di gereja tuh lebih dari 40 tahun.
So they don't look old enough, do they?
Mereka nggak kelihatan tua sebenarnya.
Particularly Christine, it's like she started serving as she was a 5-year-old or something. Maybe she did. No, she was a young mum when she started serving at church.
Ya, Christine itu adalah memulai melayani di gereja itu ketika dia seorang ibu yang masih muda.
And so let's hear some testimony from Christine first.
Mari kita akan lihat kesaksian dari Christine terlebih dahulu.
Having a heart to love and serve others is the main reason I started serving, showing the love of God in a practical way.
Oke, memiliki hati yang mengasihi dan bisa melayani orang lain adalah bagian utama yang menjadi alasan saya melayani. Menunjukkan kasih Tuhan sebagai satu wujud hal yang praktis.
And so Christine has served in leading a young mums group.
Jadi Christine sudah melayani di kelompok ibu-ibu muda.
She's counted the offering at church. Counted the offering. There's an offering counting team.
Ya, terlibat di dalam orang-orang yang menghitung uang persembahan.
Part of the welcome team.
Menjadi bagian dari welcoming team.
And worked in the children's ministry.
Dan juga melayani di pelayanan anak.
And her special memory was that when she was serving with the young mums group, she found that time to just be such a wonderful time of connection with these young mums.
Jadi hal yang teristimewa adalah ketika dia melayani kepada ibu-ibu yang masih muda, itu adalah hal yang dia bisa terkoneksi, mengetahui tentang kehidupan mereka sebagai ibu muda.
And she was able to help these mums when they were going through difficulties.
Dan dia bisa menolong ibu-ibu ini melewati permasalahan atau hal-hal kehidupan mereka.
And then she says this, and now I love being part of the welcome team. So this is where she's currently serving.
Dan sekarang saya senang untuk bisa terlibat di dalam tim welcoming.
Smiling and greeting people as they come to church.
Tersenyum dan memberikan sambutan kepada orang yang datang ke gereja.
We never know what a hard week someone may have had, and a smile goes a long way to bless people.
Ya, kita nggak tahu apa yang mereka sedang alami, tapi dengan senyuman itu bisa membawakan satu berkat buat mereka.
So here we see Christine using her gift of friendship and welcoming and hospitality.
Jadi Christine, kita bisa lihat di sini Christine itu menggunakan karunia, melayani dan juga menyambut orang lain dengan senyuman itu di dalam pelayanannya.
All right, let's move to Mark.
Mari kita lihat kepada Mark.
So Mark, I've known Mark as the drummer at our church for so long. I just remember being a teenager watching him drumming for most Sundays.
Ya, jadi Mark ini dulunya adalah yang Pastor Rachel tahu dari bertahun-tahun itu adalah seorang pemain drum.
And he loves rock and roll drums.
Dan dia senang dengan rock and roll drum.
And he actually played at C3 The Bukit a few years ago when we were still at the Golden Tulip Hotel. And it was a great experience to see him drumming for us.
Ya, dan dia juga pernah membantu kita pelayanan di drum ketika awal perintisan di gereja kita.
And so he had a gift in drumming.
Dan dia memiliki karunia untuk bermain drum.
And decided to use that gift to bless the church.
Dan memiliki kerinduan untuk bisa memberkati gereja kita.
And he joined the worship team.
Dan dia terlibat di dalam tim penyembahan.
And his special moment is just seeing people encounter God in the time of worship as he gets to play.
Jadi apa yang dia ingin capai adalah bisa menginspirasi orang-orang bisa menyembah Tuhan di dalam pelayanannya dia.
And I thought this was a good point that Mark made. He said being in church,
ini hal yang Mark sampaikan, berada di gereja,
being involved in serving kept him in a closer relationship with God.
Jadi terlibat di dalam pelayanan dan melayani orang itu bisa membantu untuk bisa membuat saya dekat dengan Tuhan.
Especially in his teenage years and early adulthood, where there were many distractions that could have taken him away from church and God.
Ya, terlebih lagi buat anak-anak muda yang masih remaja, yang mungkin banyak hal yang bisa mendistraksi mereka bisa mendekat sama Tuhan.
And so that's some good wisdom there.
Jadi ada hikmat di situ semua.
Serving in church, volunteering, that helps you to stay connected and closer to God, because community helps us.
Ya,
to
jadi
do that.
menjadi melayani di gereja dan terlibat di dalam tim itu bisa membantu untuk kita bisa mendekat sama Tuhan.
All right, let me introduce you to the next person.
Mari kita perkenalkan dengan orang yang berikut.
It is Jeff,
Adalah Jeff,
or Mr. Jeff, as he is known around C3 Hepburn Heights.
atau disebut juga Mr. Jeff. Ya.
And so you see that Rafi got to meet the famous Mr. Jeff when we came in January.
Ya, Rafael berkesempatan bertemu dengan Mr. Jeff di awal Januari.
And Mr. Jeff is a legend.
Dan Mr. Jeff adalah legend.
So he started serving in kids' church in about 1985, which was 1 year
1985.
after I was born.
Wow.
So
1995.
not many years, no.
Oke, ya. Jadi Jeff ini sudah melayani di Kids Ministry atau di pelayanan anak itu dari tahun 1995.
So
85, 85.
Yeah.
Oh wow, 1985.
So 38 years serving in Life Kids.
38 tahun melayani di pelayanan anak.
And Jeff shares about how part of his testimony, his reason for serving, comes from Psalms chapter 1 verse 3.
Jadi apa yang menjadi alasan untuk dia bisa melayani itu datang dari Mazmur
Chapter 3. Oh, 1 chapter 3.
Mazmur 1 ayat 3.
And he talks about how that passage of scripture talks about being planted by streams of water that will and these trees will produce fruit and their leaves won't wither.
Ya, jadi ayat itu tentang tertanam di tepi aliran air yang menghasilkan buahnya pada musimnya dan tidak pernah lagi daunnya.
And so he felt that as he planted himself in church and served, that there was fruitfulness that came over the years.
Jadi dia merasa bahwa ketika kita memilih untuk tertanam di gereja dan melayani bersama, itu bisa membuat kita menghasilkan buah.
And so it was a bit random that he started working with the kids. One of the leaders there invited him to be a part of serving.
Jadi dia memulai dengan ada tim daripada pelayanan anak yang mengundang dia untuk bisa terlibat di dalam pelayanan.
And then he fell in love with working with the kids.
Dan ketika itu dia mulai jatuh cinta dengan pelayanan anak-anak.
And I love this. He said, "No one has asked me to leave, so I continue on serving."
Jadi kata dia nggak ada orang yang suruh dia untuk pergi, jadi saya tetap terus melanjutkan pelayanan di pelayanan anak.
And of course, he says, "I still love it, so that's why I keep on doing it."
Dan dia katakan bahwa saya tetap menyukai dan untuk itulah saya terus melanjutkan.
And so Jeff makes this statement: serving in Life Kids helps you hear from God to meet the needs of the kids, and that has an impact on your everyday life.
Jadi Jeff mengatakan bahwa melayani di dunia anak itu menolong kita mendengar dari Tuhan dan mempertemukan apa yang menjadi kebutuhan mereka dengan apa yang Tuhan mau lakukan dalam kehidupan mereka untuk bisa mendampaki kehidupan mereka setiap harinya.
The impact of Jeff saying yes to helping with the kids program, we will never really fully know.
Jadi dampak apa yang Jeff lakukan ketika dia melayani anak, mungkin kita nggak pernah bisa tahu.
Hundreds, if not thousands of kids have been impacted by Jeff's service.
Itu bisa jadi 100 atau ribuan anak terdampaki lewat pelayanannya dia.
And he is so enthusiastic. He carries such a passion for what he does.
Dan dia sangat antusias dan sangat bergairah untuk melayani.
And he has a real gift for teaching and preaching.
Dan dia memiliki karunia untuk melayani dan memimpin.
And as he said yes to using those gifts in church,
Jadi ketika dia mengatakan iya untuk melayani di gereja,
so many people have been impacted.
banyak orang yang mengalami dampak.
And so if you think, 38 years,
Jadi kalau kita bisa berpikir 38 tahun loh ya.
we've probably had between 80 and 150 kids coming every Sunday for most of that time.
Jadi di sana bisa 100 sampai ya ribuan orang anak bisa datang.
Anyone really good at maths in the room?
Ada yang bisa menghitung secara matematika?
Hundreds of people.
Ratusan orang setiap minggunya.
And now it will be the children's children that are being impacted.
Yang terdampaki adalah dari anak sekolah minggunya yang dulu, nah ini ke anaknya lagi gitu. Jadi ke generasi yang berikutnya.
All right, let me introduce you to Heidi.
Mari saya lanjutnya adalah Heidi.
Heidi is such a beautiful lady. And look, there's someone else up there. Who's that?
Ya, selanjutnya
Oh.
adalah Heidi.
Heidi came to Bali a few years ago, got to spend some time with Della.
Ya, Heidi datang ke Bali beberapa waktu yang lalu dan meluangkan waktu bersama dengan Kak Della.
Heidi has such a beautiful heart.
Heidi memiliki hati yang sangat indah.
She is very gifted at crafts, like art and crafts.
Oke, jadi dia sangat bagus dengan keterampilan tangan.
And I know we didn't talk about crafts being one of the spiritual gifts,
Kita tahu bahwa kita nggak ada dengar bahwa craft itu bagian daripada karunia rohani.
but she uses this gift of being able to make crafts to be able to bring a message forward, which that's a
That's
gift.
good.
Preaching, speaking, teaching.
That's wonderful. Jadi dia menggunakan kemampuan untuk bisa mengajarkan keterampilan tangan itu menjadi satu media untuk menyampaikan kabar baik atau pesan Tuhan buat anak-anak yang dia layani.
And so when you meet Heidi, she just seems like a normal, lovely lady.
Jadi kalau kita bisa berkesempatan bertemu dengan Heidi, itu dia itu seorang wanita yang menyenangkan.
Maybe you wouldn't think that she's spectacular with the different gifts that you can see as soon as you meet her.
Mungkin kita nggak bisa melihat satu karunia yang spektakuler ketika kita bertemu dengan dia.
She's happy to be behind the scenes.
Tapi dia senang, tipe orang itu senang berada di bagian belakang.
And yet her ability just to say yes to using her gifts to bless the kids
Dan dia selalu berkata iya untuk bisa memberikan karunia yang dia miliki untuk melayani anak-anak.
has again impacted hundreds of children.
Dan sekali lagi yang bisa menampaki anak-anak, ratusan anak-anak.
And so Heidi's been serving for 26 years.
Jadi Heidi melayani 26 tahun.
And she said her favorite memory, or one of her favorite memories,
Jadi dia katakan bahwa hal yang berkesan yang dia ingat adalah
was actually coming here to Bali
ketika dia datang ke Bali
and teaching a Sunday school lesson.
dan mengajarkan pelajaran sekolah minggu.
And she remembers the craft that she did, because of course she would remember. It was the man who took up his bed who was unable to walk, and Jesus says, "Rise up and walk."
Jadi dia menggunakan craft atau keterampilan tangan untuk bercerita tentang seseorang pria yang lumpuh ya.
And she remembers going to Suwung, the community center there, and working with the kids there.
Dan juga dia datang ke Suwung untuk melayani anak-anak di sana.
And she was so impacted that these kids could have a hope and a sense of promise for their future, even though they were living in not great conditions.
Dan dia bisa membagikan kasih Tuhan atau pesan Tuhan kepada mereka untuk bahwa mereka bisa berjalan sesuai dengan rencana Tuhan.
And so she says that she's become more confident serving at church.
Jadi itu membantu dia bisa lebih percaya diri dalam melayani Tuhan.
And she continues to grow in faith as she prepares for lessons.
Jadi ketika dia mengajar, dia berjalan dengan iman.
And loves using her crafting gifts to spread joy that as others create.
Dan senang menggunakan keterampilan tangan untuk bisa melayani orang lain.
And so each year she prays, God, should I continue on? And each year he continues to say yes. And so she continues to serve.
Jadi setiap tahunnya dia selalu mengatakan ya untuk melayani Tuhan.
All right, let me introduce you to Phil.
Dan selanjutnya kita perkenalkan dengan Phil.
Now, it is hard to get a photo of Phil.
Cukup sulit untuk bisa mendapatkan fotonya Phil.
Does anyone want to guess which one is Phil?
Bisa
If
tebak
you know him,
mana
don't
Phil?
say anything. It's not the guy at the bottom, that's Trent. It's the same, he's in each of those 4 photos. The bass guitar guy. Ah.
Jadi Phil itu adalah bukan penyanyinya, tapi pemain bass gitar.
And so when you see Phil, he's like an icon at Hepburn Heights because of his hair. I think is why he's an icon, because yes, there we got a mouse there.
Ya, jadi Phil ini seperti ikonnya di gereja di Perth karena rambutnya.
And when you see Phil play, he plays with such passion. It is wonderful to see him play.
Ya, jadi kalau kita bisa melihat Phil bermain, dia bermain dengan sangat bergairah.
And I just want to put like a fan in front of him, so then his hair. Anyway, that's just a.
Iya, jadi dia ketika bermain tuh dengan action bergaya begitu yang khas dari ciri khas rambutnya.
And so Phil has been part of our band for, let me check here, He started when he was 20 and he turns 57. So 37 years he's been playing in the church band.
Ya, jadi dia melayani di usia 20-an dan sekarang dia 57 tahun, jadi sekitar 37 tahun melayani di dalam team worship di Perth.
I remember watching Phil as a young person on the stage. He was playing electric guitar at that stage when Mark was playing the drums as well.
Ya, saya juga masih ingat ketika Phil waktu itu masih muda sekali, dia bermain gitar dan juga Mark ketika bermain drum.
And so Phil has a natural ability to play an instrument.
Phil ini memiliki kemampuan bermain beberapa instrumen.
And he wanted to use that gift and to give it back to God and honor him with that gift.
Dan dia mau menggunakan talenta ini atau kemampuan ini untuk dikembalikan bagi kemuliaan Tuhan.
And so he has lots of special memories over the years.
Jadi dia punya banyak kenangan selama tahunan.
But one of his special memories was being given a brand new, very nice bass guitar from the church as a thank you for his service to our church.
Ya pengen ya. Ya, jadi yang berkesan adalah ketika dia diberikan bass gitar oleh gereja.
That's the one he's playing right
Sebagai
now.
satu penghargaan. Itu bass yang dia mainkan itu adalah pemberian.
And he writes, I believe that they saw something in me.
Dan
That they saw something in me.
dan
Like
dia
something
mengatakan
good.
bahwa dia melihat sesuatu dalam Pastor Rachel.
And he shares about how he just plays a small part amongst an amazing group of talented musicians.
Jadi dia hanya
He plays a small part in what is a bigger group of talented musicians.
Ya, jadi dia hanya cuma bermain di bagian kecil daripada kelompok musik yang besar.
And so he says this, and this is another piece of wisdom that we can draw from this.
Ini adalah bagian yang kita bisa pelajari, hikmat yang kita bisa pelajari.
Serving and using my gift at church has taught me to stay true through the good and the hard times.
Jadi melayani dan menggunakan karunia yang saya miliki di gereja itu membuat saya tetap melakukan hal yang baik sekalipun dalam kondisi yang sulit.
And to remain faithful and be forever grateful to give what even seems like a little to our great God.
Dan selalu setia dan selamanya tetap bersyukur memberikan apa yang sepertinya kecil tapi hanya untuk kemuliaan nama Tuhan.
And so Phil would say that I'm just giving what feels like a little thing, but that little faithfulness with the little has been such a blessing to our church over the years.
Ya, jadi sekalipun hal kecil yang dia pikir dia bisa berikan, tapi itu hanya untuk kemuliaan nama Tuhan, itu yang menjadi motivasinya dia.
All right, the last person is the wonderful Pauline.
Ya, dan yang terakhir adalah wonderful Pauline.
Pauline Jenkins. So Pauline has been part of our church since almost the beginning.
Jadi Pauline ini telah berada bersama dengan gereja kita sejak dari awal.
And she's been volunteering for 37 years.
Dan dia sudah melayani selama 37 tahun.
And so her first role in volunteering at church was actually as the coordinator of the dance group.
Wow. Jadi bagian yang pertama kali dia lakukan di dalam sebagai volunteer adalah koordinator daripada dance penari, tim penari.
So my first memories of Pauline at church is dancing on the stage with the group of female dancers. And then there was this guy, Jesus. It was always the same guy every year, Andrew. That was Jesus. And then the dance was like, it was Easter or Christmas. They would always do a dance production and it was awesome.
Ya, jadi hal yang selalu Pastor Rachel ingat adalah ketika Pauline bernari dengan beberapa wanita lainnya, dan itu berhubungan dengan kisah tentang Tuhan Yesus, dan orang yang sama yang selalu menjadi Tuhan Yesus adalah Andrew.
And so, not that Andrew, different Andrew.
Different
That would have
Andrew.
been funny. Andrew,
Yeah.
I don't think that Andrew would definitely not do
Yeah.
dancing. I can imagine that.
Yeah.
And so Pauline has served in ushering, the creche, cafe, info desk, board meeting minutes, connect group leadership, beyond local and overseas admin, healing and deliverance ministry, Life Plus, which is our older people's ministry, intercessory prayer, mission trips, and being part of various prayer meetings. Did you get all those?
Ya, jadi pelayanannya banyak banget. Ada di dance, ada di doa syafaat, ada di melayani untuk pelepasan juga dan lain sebagainya. Dia intinya terlibat di dalam pelayanan dalam banyak hal.
And so she has been faithful with the little.
Dia telah menjadi setia dalam hal yang kecil,
faithful to do what was required.
setia dalam hal yang diminta.
And again, if you meet Pauline, she's not a really big personality,
Jadi kalau kita bertemu dengan Pauline, kita mungkin nggak bisa melihat dia seseorang yang punya pribadi yang besar begitu.
but as you get to know her, you just see the gold and the heart that she has for God.
Tetapi semakin kita mengenal dia, kita akan bisa melihat bahwa hatinya sangat besar untuk memuliakan Tuhan.
And so she says this statement at the end of her testimony.
Jadi dia menyampaikan testimoninya seperti ini.
She says, when I think of working for someone, I can think of no better boss than God.
Jadi ketika saya memikirkan tentang bekerja untuk seseorang, tidak ada yang lebih yang saya bayangkan adalah bosnya adalah Tuhan.
And so these are just some of the special people that have impacted our church over many decades through their service.
Jadi apa yang tadi sudah disampaikan adalah orang-orang yang mendampingi gereja kita selama puluhan tahun.
And what I wanted us today to do is to think beyond what is here and now and to think about the future and what is the impact that you're going to make moving forward into the future.
Jadi apa yang kita pelajari pada hari ini adalah bagaimana kita memikirkan tentang kehidupan kita yang bisa mendampaki selama puluhan tahun ke depan.
Our church is still relatively young,
Ya, gereja kita memang masih masih cukup muda.
but we have the opportunity to be able to say yes to serving and to giving and volunteering in our church for future generations.
Tapi kita semua berkesempatan untuk bisa terlibat di dalam pelayani dan bisa mendampaki gereja kita ke depan.
And so that the next generations will know Jesus.
Jadi supaya generasi berikutnya bisa mengenal Tuhan Yesus.
And so I want to encourage you, if you've already said yes to being part of this church, volunteering, or maybe another church, then be encouraged that the impact that you're making is beyond what you can see maybe in the natural.
Ya, jadi hal yang kita bisa pelajari ada bahwa dampak yang kita lakukan, mungkin kita sudah terlibat di dalam pelayanan, tapi harus ingat bahwa kita ada dampak yang kita bisa lakukan yang melampaui dari apa yang kita bisa bayangkan.
And maybe this is an opportunity, if you haven't started serving, to say yes, to be able to put your hand up and be part of volunteering at church or your home church.
Dan bagi Anda yang belum terlibat di dalam pelayanan, ini adalah kesempatan untuk bisa terlibat di dalam pelayanan.
Each of us have something significant to contribute.
Karena setiap kita memiliki sesuatu hal yang signifikan untuk bisa berkontribusi.
And we may never know the impact of our yes.
Dan kita nggak pernah tahu apa dampaknya ketika kita mengatakan ya dengan apa yang Tuhan sanggup lakukan lewat apa yang kita lakukan.
But we might find out as we step out in faith and
Dan
say
kita
yes.
bisa melihat itu ketika kita melangkah dengan iman melayani Dia.
Alright.